I read 17 books this year. Let's talk about them. First one was The Gone World by Tom Sweterlitsch, which I'm butchering. A gritty detective novel, plus time and space travel, plus creepy horror elements. There were scenes and images from this that will haunt me pretty much forever. I think the plot got convoluted and twisted in on itself by the end and it didn't stick the landing, but super interesting concept, very cool read, and honestly gave me the heebie-jeebies that night. The Maid by Nita Prose. I hate this book. I have heard that it is a terrible depiction of autism, and I would have to agree. Honestly, none of her actions or thoughts are really consistent or make sense. Throw this whole book into the trash. Next two are actually from the Mistborn trilogy. I read books 2 and 3, The Well of Ascension and The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. I love this trilogy to death. The magic system, the world, the characters, the ending was perfect and tragic. I had the worst withdrawals after finishing these two. I still think about them. The Perfect Marriage by Jeneva Rose. I listened to this on audiobook because I needed background noise while I was cooking, and honestly, I wish I could just unhear it. Super hot, badass, competent woman. And then there is the angry, but also super hot man that may or may not have committed murder. It's just that. It's always that. I'm not into that. Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. The premise was very cool. Didn't love the main character. It was an easy enough read that I stuck it through to the end. Not sure if it was worth the whole ride. I will say that this was supposed to be Holly Jackson's first foray into adult fiction. I think this book still read like YA. Honestly, it would have made more sense if the main character was 16 or 17, because she acted like a 16 or 17-year-old the whole time. A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. I was super excited about this, heard wonderful things, and when I first started the book, really liked it. The world felt unique. It wasn't anything I'd really read before, but then it kind of turned out to be a police story just set in a fantasy world, and while there were moments of very cool action and world building, it needed a lot less dialogue and interviews. That being said, I might still give book 2 a chance, so we'll see. The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. I had friends warn me that it would not be the same. It is set hundreds of years later. I just didn't realize how different it would be, and it is so much more Western than fantasy, and I'm not a Western girl. I don't like the guns and the pew-pews. Okay, I want magic and dragons. I'm magic and dragons girly. Okay, these next 4 all go together, and it is the first 4 books in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. So fun, and I don't think I've ever described a book as fun. Action-packed, whimsical, quirky, and the world is so weird, and shout out to Ellie for making me pick up the audiobooks. I would switch back and forth between the audiobook and the regular books, but the audiobook might be the best one I've ever listened to. The production quality is super high, and the narration is amazing. Just for the format of the story, which is very video game-esque, it works very, very well for audiobook. This series is currently my comfort read, and I will read it while I'm reading everything else. The Tenant by Freida McFadden. I have beef with Freida McFadden. I think she needs to write less books and she needs to write better books. But hey, whatever. Get that back, girl. This is another one of those mystery books that throws in all sorts of red herrings just to be red herrings. They don't make a ton of sense, and it's trying so hard to be twisty and unpredictable that it doesn't make a ton of sense. I also don't like how every man is just angry and horny. Angry and horny. Not into it. If you are reaching for a Freida McFadden book, I would say set it down and, I don't know, go find some Gillian Flynn. The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I have heard amazing things about this. It is one of those classic fantasy epics that everyone raves about, and I won't lie, I binged the first 75% of the book on a 9-hour flight back from Egypt, but the little bit after that really dragged and I felt like it ended in a kind of that's it kind of way. But that being said, I'll probably pick up the next book in the series. I might just need a little break first. Oh crap, camera's dying. Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I actually watched the movie for this first, which I rarely do. I usually try and read the book before I see the movie. I like how much more science and physics and astronomy that you get in the book, and you get so much more about Rocky and Iridian culture. Very heartwarming. I don't think it makes the list as one of my favorite reads ever, but I did really like the book. The Night Guest by Fiona McFarlane. I don't even remember where I bought this book. I think it may have been at a Goodwill or a garage sale or something. It follows the story of a woman who is living on her own. Her husband has passed. She's in her older years at this point. She's revisiting moments in her life while also kind of experiencing kind of a decline in her mental capacities and her bearings on where she's at. And she starts to build a relationship with her caretaker, but there are kind of darker elements to it. You start to feel her grip on reality kind of ebb and flow. It was a book that I wasn't expecting to make me feel the things that I felt. It can be a slow read. It often feels like not a lot happens, and it can be confusing because the narrator's own grasp of timelines starts to be a bit shaky, and her ability to discern fact from fiction. This book isn't for everyone, but I personally really enjoyed the process of reading it, and it made me want to call my mom at the end. And my most recent read was Beartown by Fredrik Backman. I have read a couple of books of his, Anxious People, and I think there was one more. Something he always does really well is write characters, and I think that's what makes Beartown work. All very believable, they feel real, distinct, you kind of fall in love with all of them. And there were a lot of really good, heartwarming and heartbreaking moments in the book. My one thing is that it felt like it was trying too hard to be quotable, and there were so many philosophical, rhetorical questions that I think may have been a bit heavy-handed. Anyway, that's everything I've read so far. I'm working currently on the 5th season by Jemison and starting Dune. So I'll report back. My goal is to read 20 by the end of the year. I think I will definitely hit it. May even shoot for 30, but we'll see. Bye, friends.